Judith Barr is a psychotherapist and an author. She's been on our program before, and it's a pleasure to welcome her back into News Talk 1110 WBT. Hi, Judith.
Hi, Don. Good morning. I'm glad to be with you.
It's good to have you back on the program. Judith, we are in the midst of this political season, and man, unless you are a fight referee, yeah, you have a really difficult time watching what's going on. I know I do. It has really gotten uncivilized to the point where I saw a survey yesterday that said 80% of the ads on TV for political candidates are negative ads. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yes.
There's no place to go to get any information without people yelling at each other.
It's really sad. Actually, it's really tragic considering the fact that elections are intended to be a healthy way to choose our leaders. Let's look at it through the lens of power. Actually, today, let's look at it through the lens of powerlessness, because I think it's rooted in people's experience of powerlessness. I'm going to give you a couple examples here. We came to America because we felt powerless in England, and we tried to create a country here in which we wouldn't feel powerless. We tried to create an election system in which we wouldn't feel powerless, in which the citizens would feel empowered and actually be empowered. And, it doesn't matter whether we're talking about the 1700s, the 1800s, or today, the distortions and the issues around powerlessness that have created this have always been there. I was doing some research, and I found out that in 1828, John Quincy Adams supporters insinuated that Andrew Jackson's mother was a prostitute and his wife was an adulteress.
Oh, my God.
And in 1884, there were chants against Grover Cleveland because it was discovered that he fathered a child out of wedlock and had the child put in an orphanage. And we could hear the same things today. So let's go to the human level. On a personality level, on a human level, we will go to extraordinary lengths to keep our feelings at bay, especially our earliest feelings of pain, fear, rage, and especially powerlessness. Think of how much we do as people to get away from those primal feelings, especially the feelings of powerlessness. And who wasn't powerless as a child? That is part of being a baby, an infant, a baby, a little child growing up. You are powerless. That's why your parents, it's their responsibility to take care of you. So if you were once powerless as a child and it wasn't a good experience, you will do anything to keep from being powerless again, to keep from feeling powerless again, or even to have an unconscious memory triggered of when you were powerless. So think about how losing elections would definitely trigger feelings of powerlessness. So what do people do to keep from feeling powerlessness in an election? People go to all sorts of lengths, even, as you said, uncivilized lengths. They spread rumors, they lie, they slander an opponent, not just to win an election, but to keep from feeling powerless. They cheat at the polls, they prevent voters from voting, they steal funds to support their campaign, they buy votes, they seduce voters with charm and false promises and half-truths, they cause ugly scenes in all sorts of arenas, including on televised debates that go all over the world. And some people refuse to participate in elections, all to keep from feeling powerless.
I got a minute left, Judith. Is there anything in that time frame that you could leave us with that where we can counter that?
Well, each of us, Don, needs to look at our own feelings of powerlessness and what we do to try to avoid them. Each of us needs to be willing to see, when I do this, am I trying to avoid my ancient feelings of powerlessness? And then as each of us does that work, we pull that out of the pool that feeds it nationally. And then we help to stop, we help to keep the elections from simply being a defense against powerlessness. And we can help return it to being a healthy process.
Golly, this is a fascinating discussion, Judith. Always great to have you on the program to dig a little deeper than we ordinarily do. And thank you for bringing us the info in 5.5 minutes. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you, Judith. Judith Barr here on News Talk 1110 WBT.